When I was away farming, I stayed in a place called Innisfail in far north Queensland. While I was there, something caught my eye. On almost every car, there was a bumper sticker, like the one on screen right now. The same kind of sticker was in every business in Innisfail too, asking for people to come forward with any information involving the case of Toyah Cordingley. So of course, I did a little research, and I also asked a couple of taxi drivers who lived there about what happened, and they told me the brief story of what occurred, and the dark event that shook Queensland. Not far from Innisfail, there is a town called Cairns, and this is where this case takes place. Toyah Cordingley was a 24-year-old woman who lived in Cairns. She worked as a pharmacy assistant, and she was described as a free-spirited, kind person with a love of sunflowers and the Harry Potter books. She also worked as an animal rescue worker. She had a passion and a love for animals, and they loved her too. It wasn't uncommon to see Toyah with a dog on one of the many beaches. On October the 21st, she started her day like any other. She went shopping in a fruit and veg market called Rusty's in the Cairns CBD. This footage on screen now is the last time Toyah would be seen alive. She had made plans to walk her boyfriend's dog, who was called Jersey. Toyah went home quickly and made a change of clothes. She then headed out to the secluded Wangeti beach, which is just about 40 kilometers north of Cairns. She drove up in her Mitsubishi Lancer with the license plates Toy 146. Toyah set off for the walk along the beach with the dog, and she arrived there at around 2 p.m. So at this time, it was still daylight, and it was a time that anybody should feel safe walking on a beach. But Toyah didn't return home, and her boyfriend noticed, and he quickly notified Toyah's family that she didn't come back from the dog walk. This was quite unusual. With a great deal of concern for their daughter, Toyah's parents, along with other family members, quickly began to search for her. She was officially reported missing at 10:50 p.m. They managed to locate Toyah's car with the familiar license plates Toy 146, but no sign of Toyah herself. They looked for her all the way through the night, and after some time they found her boyfriend's dog, who was all alone. Someone had tied up Jersey extremely tightly, so tight that the dog was unable to sit. Jersey was okay though, and was unharmed, but something was clearly wrong. The police soon joined in the search for Toyah, and they came to the site where Jersey was found. Then their search continued into the darkness and through to the following morning. It was then, at around 7:45 a.m. on the 22nd of October 2018, they found her. A sight that no parent should have to see. Troy Cordingley, Toyah's father, found his daughter dead on the beach. She was naked, battered and bruised with visible extreme violent injuries. Her body was partially buried in the sand dunes, around 800 meters away from where her car was located, and it seemed she had sustained her violent injuries before she was killed. The police then launched an investigation into the murder of Toyah. Police dog units were dispatched, and SES volunteers began to comb the area for any clues that could lead to their capture of Toyah's killer. They knocked on the doors of people who lived locally, asking for DNA samples to begin the process of elimination. The police were looking for a man who carried out this potentially sexually motivated crime, and they urged anyone with information regarding the case to come forward. The police found 68 unidentified vehicles seen in the area at the time of the homicide. The case quickly became one of the biggest in Queensland. Several witnesses came forward to give information, and Crime Stoppers received over 800 calls. The police also recovered multiple undisclosed items of interest in the North Cairns area. The hunt for the killer was looking promising. The police also asked the public to come forward if they knew anybody who had injuries that couldn't be accounted for. So it seems like there was evidence that Toyah fought back against the killer. And what gave me serious chills about this case is that Toyah made a rather shocking kind of prediction of her fate in a post on Facebook. The post read, "I can only imagine the rage and fear women feel to see other women die, doing everyday things like walking home like they do, to then only be told it's their fault and they need to be more careful. Stop blaming women." This was posted on the 18th of June 2018, only months before she was killed. On December the 8th, the media reported on some leaked information and ran a story about Toyah and a potential person of interest in the case. It turned out a man named Rajwinder Singh had fled to India on the night of the murder. He was a former care nurse for the elderly, and he had become a person of interest when the forensics team triangulated Toyah's mobile phone. Using the data, they were able to narrow down where she was at particular times. They then used dashcam footage that they had received from people and the traffic surveillance footage to find potential witnesses and people of interest. And he just so happened to be one of the people they had spotted within that footage. He had also been identified driving erratically through Cairns on the night of the murder, and that's just before he returned to where he was staying and he booked a flight to India. There are also some rumours that there was DNA evidence linking him to the murder. A few people came forward saying that they had actually seen him with multiple injuries, such as bite marks and scratches, although this has not fully been confirmed yet. But what is most strange about him leaving is that he left behind his wife and 3 children, and one of them was a baby too. His family protest his innocence, stating that he isn't capable of doing something like this, but they have also said that he was acting strangely before the murder. He had resigned from his job after taking lots of time off work. He had also become depressed. His family had notified the police that he was missing 3 days before Toyah was killed. He flew from Cairns to Sydney, where he stayed with his sister, before flying back to India, to his hometown on the border of Pakistan, a densely populated place called Amritsar in the state of Punjab. He has not used any of his bank cards since leaving the country. Now it should be known that the media were accused of spreading false information, and they also made the jobs of the police a lot harder by leaking this information. The police have said that he is just one of many people of interest, and the investigators in this case have obviously become very secretive about the information regarding the murder since the leak. But while writing this video, a news article was published. The article states that an extradition request to track down Rajwinder is expected to be made very soon, and that a very comprehensive brief of evidence is required to do this. The Australian media broadcaster Channel 7 went to India and they managed to track some of his relatives. They have also claimed not to have seen him, stating that his disappearance is indeed strange. The Indian authorities have said that they will use their resources to help track him and help bring justice to the family. Rajwinder's family members have moved back to India in hopes of finding him. At this point, no charges or arrests have been made, but I will keep you updated. Until he is questioned or arrested, we can only speculate for now. But as I said before, there are other people of interest. Witnesses came forward, stating that they had seen two men behaving strangely, heading away from the beach where Toyah was killed, at around the same time of the homicide. He said that two men on the side of the road were waving for help. He stated that they looked scruffy, and that they were in a frantic state. They had a flat tyre, and had lost their tyre jack. They seemed like they didn't want to hang around for too long, and that something was on their mind. They changed their tyre, and they quickly drove off in a white ute towards Cairns. There are many rumours and speculations surrounding this case, mainly due to the media sharing false information, so I hope the information I have shared is correct. But when I was getting a lift from the taxi driver in Innisfail, he told me that when they found Toyah, she had been decapitated, and that they have never been able to find her head. But I literally could not find any information about this, so I'm guessing it's just Chinese whispers, and I hope it's not true. So if you do look into this case for yourself, take what you see with a pinch of salt. But for now, the case remains unsolved.